Good morning. My name is Vincent. Today we're going to be talking about the legalization of marijuana. Our topics today will be problems and historical background, levels of political power, administrative law, ethics, negotiating and bargaining processes, marijuana as a part of political policy, problems and historical background. In 1996, California became the first state to legalize medical marijuana. This would actually be the stepping stone for all the states uh, within the United States. In 2014, the state of Colorado will be the first state to allow dispensaries to sell marijuana for recreational and medical purposes. Colorado citizens would be able to purchase marijuana as an oil, hard candy, or baked goods. Excuse me. Other states will follow Colorado's example by trying to lobby for medical marijuana within their state. Every year, more Americans consider legalizing marijuana as a positive decision, but currently, marijuana is still seen as a Schedule 1 drug under the federal law. As a Schedule 1 drug, marijuana is viewed as a drug with no medical benefit and harmful to the public. The negative image that marijuana adopted was due to alcohol prohibition and a negative attention towards opioids and, and cocaine in the 1920s. After the success of passing the bill for alcohol prohibition, Congress turned its gaze towards all harmful substances, which would include opioids, marijuana, and cocaine. During that time frame, the media viewed marijuana and all other toxic substances as gateways to violence. Levels of power. The House of Representatives has reached a verdict to approve a bill that would prohibit the federal government from interfering with state level laws concerning uh, marijuana sales. Shortly after passing the bill, the House voted a rider that would protect marijuana laws for Indian tribes on their respective reservations. On June 20th, the comprehensive marijuana banking bill took center stage on the House floor. The bill would protect state level banks from federal prosecution. State banks were at risk for federal prosecution because of the business dealings involving cannabis transactions within their state. Administrative law. The legalities of marijuana are considered a complicated issue that is rooted in the division of state and federal policy. Currently, the National Institute on Drug Abuse views marijuana as a Schedule 1 drug. A Schedule 1 drug is viewed as a illegal substance that has no recognized value. The negative perception of marijuana makes it a substance that is federally illegal in all 50 states. However, many states have legalized medical marijuana. Citizens can receive medical marijuana through a physician that specializes in marijuana prescription. The contradictions between state and federal jurisdictions have caused many legal battles concerning possession of marijuana. If their state officials detain a civilian for the possession of marijuana, it may be due to the quantity of the drug they're carrying. A citizen in all states should know the limitations of what can be carried, produced, or sold in their state. All states are conducting their legislation concerning marijuana. Americans need to be knowledgeable of their state legislation if they want to avoid prosecution. If federal officials detain a citizen of any given state for marijuana, most likely the individual is being monitored by the federal authorities. The federal agency may be conducting a large-scale investigation that is connected to the citizen's marijuana possession. Now, it should be noted that depending on the situation, judges have been known to give citizens stiff sentences for marijuana possession. These harsh punishments that were given by judges were due to the individual's past, criminal history, and if they intended to sell the marijuana. We're currently in the ethics section now. Marijuana legislation uh, uh, has created conversation among American citizens regarding ethical repercussions for marijuana legalization. Marijuana was perceived as the lesser toxin of narcotics among American citizens, but the media advertised marijuana as a gateway drug. The term gateway drug referred to marijuana driving children to travel a path of harder and more terrifying narcotics. Today, many of the ethical arguments derive from earlier perceptions of marijuana. Common ethical arguments. The first one, marijuana will harm American teenagers' mental development. The second one could be Americans will become less productive because of the accessibility of marijuana. And third, marijuana use will increase because of accessibility of marijuana. Negotiation, Negotiating and bargaining processes. In 2019, the country was supposed to witness the biggest year of marijuana legislation. States like New York, New Jersey, and Illinois were slated for large legislation for recreational marijuana use in their respective states. Negotiating bargaining process issues. The first one, Latino and African American lawmakers have withheld their support for legalization. They felt that not enough was done for criminal justice reform. The second one would be disputes over economic justice in the allocate in the alloc- in the allocate. Excuse me for a second. The second one is disputes over economic justice and allocation of marijuana revenue. The third is other other political topics having more priority than the marijuana legislation, which caused marijuana legislation to be pushed to the side. Negotiating and bargaining processes. The state of Illinois representative, um, she would go ahead and try to push a bill that will allow sales and growth of 24 marijuana plants within a resident's home. The bill also would allocate 10% of marijuana revenue to be generated for local government programs and special provisions to support the pension funds for teachers and local police. Representative Cassidy and Steen have been carefully developing a plan for the legislation of cannabis for more than a year. Unlike their counterpart they have taken the time and waited for the proper opportunity to display their bill to the forefront. They also negotiated uh, with the law enforcement, lawmakers, and the governor's office so that they could properly present their bill. Currently, um, currently both bills are being reviewed, but most likely Cassidy and Stern's bill is going to be pushed past. It's going to be pushed for Illinois. Marijuana as a part of public policy. The path of making marijuana a part of public policy started with, with Oregon in 1973. Oregon was the first state to decriminalize marijuana. There has been quite a lot of activity in the recent years to promote the legal use of marijuana for either medical or recreational purposes. Five of these laws especially stand out because of their significant impact. California's Proposition 215 for 1996. With this ballot, California became the first state to legalize medical marijuana. California was the first to fall and give organizers outside the state the confidence to push for legalization of medical marijuana in their states. Colorado's Amendment 64 in 2012. Colorado became one of the first states to legalize recreational marijuana through a ballot. The state also set the standard for others in how to regulate recreational marijuana, with sales of both medical and recreational cannabis of $1.5 billion in 2017. Okay. Washington's 502. Washington state residents voted to legalize recreational marijuana at the same time Colorado did. While Washington's recreational cannabis market hasn't been quite as large as in its fellow pioneer state, total marijuana spending in the state in fiscal year 2017 was 1.3 billion. California 64, 2016. California's passage of a ballot initiative to legalize recreational marijuana is important because of the state size. The the medical marijuana market in California was nearly 3 billion in 2017, roughly twice the size of Colorado's total marijuana market. Vermont's 511, 2018. Tiny Vermont deserves this distinction as the first state to legalize recreational marijuana by the way of the state legislature rather than through a ballot. However, there was a twist with Vermont's law. While the use of recreational marijuana up to an ounce is allowed, the sale of recreational marijuana is still illegal. Today, the overall landscape of marijuana legislation has completely changed. 11 states have completely legalized marijuana. 33 states have legalized medical marijuana. 15 states have decriminalized marijuana possession. Here's my references to all my material. All material being discussed in this slide is cited and referenced per guidelines of the school. Here's some more references. All right, that's the conclusion of my presentation. I hope that you enjoyed the presentation. You have a wonderful day.